Good morning, children. Today we are going to start with chapter 1, So Many Living Things. In this chapter, children, we are going to know what are living things and what are non-living things and what are the different types of living things. So let's start with the reading. P. Tale. Here there is a small story whose characters are Minnie, Apu and Dada. Now here, Minnie and Apu were shelling peas with Dada and eating some too. Minnie was about to pop a pea into her mouth when Apu cried, "Wait!" Now, in the first sentence, children, Minnie and Apu. Now, Dadaji were shelling the peas. What do you mean by shelling? They are removing the shell from the peas. And they were separating the seeds of the pea. And Minnie and Apu were also sitting with Dadaji. And they were also shelling the peas. And side by side, they are also eating the peas. Now, as Minnie was about to pop a pea into her mouth, suddenly Apu stopped her, and told her, "Wait." Suddenly, why Apu told to wait? Let's read further. A little green caterpillar lay curled around the pea. Is it alive? Minnie touched it with her finger. Now, what was there inside that pea? There was a small caterpillar which lay curled around the pea. And it was alive also. Suddenly, Minnie touched it with her finger. She wanted to touch it and feel that how it is feeling. The caterpillar moved but held on to the pea. The caterpillar was moving because it was alive. But it was stick to the pea only. I'll put it back in the pod. Later we can leave it out in the garden. Now, what Minnie was saying, that I'll put this caterpillar inside the pod again and we'll leave it inside the garden so that there the caterpillar can move it freely. We are not going to hurt caterpillar. Let it be alive. And we are going to leave that caterpillar in the garden. Do you know, said Dada, in a few weeks this little green caterpillar will fly away. It will be a little brown moth then. Apu and Minnie looked in wonder at the caterpillar. Now, with the Dadaji, what Dadaji was trying to say, that after a few weeks, this caterpillar will become a moth. Now, children, what is a moth? You know, children, moth is a small butterfly which is brown in color. And the difference between a butterfly and a moth, I like to tell you, when the butterfly sits on some flower, the wings of the butterfly are upwards, whereas when the moth is sitting on something, the wings of the moth, which is brown in color, will be flattened and will be below. This is the difference. And all the moths will be light brown in color, whereas butterflies are of different colors. Okay? Now let's proceed further. Or a bird might find it first and eat it up, said Minnie. Apu made a face at her. One day, you too can watch a caterpillar turn into a moth or a butterfly, said Dada. After you find out some more about living things and how to take care of them. Now, Dadaji was explaining to them that this will become a big moth and it will fly in the here and there. It will become a small butterfly. Then later on they were wondering that this is a living thing, and we can find many other living things also in the garden. So what are those living things? Let's give a thought. Let's start right away, cried Appu. How many living things can we see in this garden, Minnie? Now, as they were taking the caterpillar in the garden, they were all discussing, and now Minnie and Appu, they wanted to search for more living things. And they wanted to see what all living things they can find in the garden when they are going to leave the caterpillar. Now they wanted to find more living things. Now before they find few living things, there is a small poem, children. Let's read this poem. Hush, hush, don't make a sound. Walk softly, searching on the ground. Under the stones they creep and hide. In puddles, ponds, they swim and dive. Some stand still with roots so deep, home to others that crawl or sleep. On branches, barks and leaves they stay, or spread their wings and fly away. Now this is a small poem. They are just here they are referring to different living things. Now they are walking softly and they wanted to find out more living things. They want to find out the living things under the stone, in the puddles, ponds, where the living things can swim and come out. And then they see the plants also. With the roots so deep means the plants are standing erect with the roots. Home to others that crawl on the sleep. Now, those who are crawling on the ground, they are also the living things. Then those who are walking on the branches, barks, and they are resting on the barks and the leaves, they are also living things. Or some living things, they spread their wings and fly away like birds. Okay? Now next, search for living things. Make a list of all living things in your classroom. You, your classmates and your teacher are living. What are the other living things in the classroom? Now, this is an activity, children, we will be doing. You have to list the living things which are found inside the classroom. Now, as you know, children, let's brief first of all what are living things. Now, living things, as we know, first of all, they will breathe. The things which are having life in them, they are called the living things. As we say, the animals, insects, trees are breathing. That's why they are also living things. Now, different types of birds, you will find different types of animals, insects, we human being, all are living things. Okay, so when you are in the classroom or you are at home, you can make a list of different living things which are seen around you. Okay, now next is outside the classroom. This you can do, make a list those who are outside your home. Now list the living things that you see in your school ground or near your house. Look for different kinds of plants and trees. Look closely on the ground, under the stones, inside puddles or ponds, in the bushes, on branches, leaves and barks of the trees, in the air and in the sky. Now, what are the puddles? Puddles are small pond of water where the water is collected after the rain. That is a small pond. Okay. There also, after some time, you will find small insects as living things. See who can notice and write down the largest number of the living things. Now, take care. Take care. When you are searching for the living things, you do not go deep into the grass or bushes. Do not put your hand into cracks or turn over large stones. You may get a nasty surprise. What is the nasty surprise? because some dangerous animal might be there under the stone, like snake, or you will find some other insects which is harmful to us under the stone. So you have to be very careful when you are looking for the living things. Okay? Coming to the next part, summers and rain. Choose a small patch of land near your home or school. Count how many different kinds of plants and animals you see there during the summer season. How many of these plants are trees? Now this we are going to look for living things in two different ways. First of all, we'll look in our normal summers and then during the rain time. That is before the rain and after the rain. Okay, so then again we are going to make a list of them. Look again after the rainy season has started. The old plants now look greener, but you also see many more and many different kinds of small baby plants. As the days go by, they grow bigger. You also see new animals. Look for frogs, earthworms, and different kinds of insects like caterpillars, butterflies, beetles, and flies. Now these you have to be very observant, children. During the rain, you have to look for the living things which you find mostly before the rain and after the rain. And then you have to make a list of them. Then we will be comparing that after the rain, how many more or extra living creatures are we finding. Count how many different kinds of plants and animals you see in the rainy season. Now, I'll give you one example. Suppose I'm talking about grass or different types of plants. You will find many different types of grasses also. If you talk about only grass, we'll find different types of grasses after the rain and weeds after the rains. Weeds, what are weeds? Weeds are the small plants which are not useful to us, which are just adding extra, they are the extra plants they are coming on their own. Okay, so they are called the weeds. They are the unwanted plants. We don't have to do anything. We are not planting them, but they are coming on their own. So they are called the weeds. W-E-E-D-S. Okay. Now think. Where did all these new plants and animals come from? Where were they hiding in the summer? Now if we talk about normal summer or before the rains, we can't find small plants around a big plant. But after 1 or 2 rains have come, we will find small plants coming out on the ground. Now we have to think that from where all these new plants are coming. Okay? So there are a few points for remembering. Remember this, we see many different kinds of living things around us. All these living things are either plants or animals. Plants stay fixed on the ground, animals move around. When it rains, we see new plants and new animals. So with this, children, we have completed the chapter, and I hope you must have understood about all the living things. Now as we will make the list of the different living things, you will come to know more about living things. Okay? Till then, children, goodbye.